truth in taxation hearing. We're having a public hearing immediately before the Board of Commissioners meeting, and this is our truth in taxation hearing. And I guess I would first ask our County Treasurer, Sharon Kennedy, to just give a quick overview of what this public hearing is about.
Did you just give me a promotion?
What did I say? I'm sorry, what did I call you?
I think
Treasurer?
I just got promoted. Thank you, sir. Very briefly, the purpose of the Truth in Taxation public hearing is to alert the public that our revenue from taxing sources and from sources of the state of Michigan, specifically convention facilities and cigarette tax that they collect in the state, they share that back to the counties, and that is really the reason why we're having a Truth in Taxation public hearing. We held the hearing and include all the millage rates to which we are or may be entitled by the end of the year, and those that we're not entitled by the end of the year because we'll apportion in October, we don't levy. So we'll, at this point, this is how we pass it, and then if there are any changes in the millage, then we will have a resolution in October to correct or amend the resolution that we pass now.
Okay,
So
thank you.
briefly, that was the explanation.
Thank you. That's perfect. And then I would call for public comment if there's anyone from the public who would wish to be heard during the Truth in Taxation hearing. And I'll call for it 3 times. Anyone from the public like to be heard during the public opportunity to comment? And last call. Anyone from the public like to comment? In that case, I close public comment, and I guess without objection, I would close the Truth in Taxation hearing. And I call to order the Board of Commissioners regular meeting. We start with a Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Pastula, would you start us off, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And would the clerk please take roll call attendance?
Commissioner Cooper. Here. Commissioner Kinsella.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Commissioner Pastula.
Here.
And Chairman Shackleton.
I am here as well. So we have everybody in attendance today. On the next item is the agenda that's been presented to us. Are there any additions or deletions that would be proposed? You have something you'd like to share with all of us, Commissioner Cooper?
I thought I had the wrong ones.
Okay.
I'll move that we approve. I'll move approval of the agenda as presented.
Okay.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported that the agenda be approved as presented. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move to correspondence received in the clerk's office. That's on page 2. There's page 2.
I'll move the correspondence be forwarded to the clerk's office for distribution as needed.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that the correspondence received be distributed as appropriate to the various interested parties. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We have county board meeting minutes of May 12th, which needs to be approved, and that is on page 3. Approved or amended and approved, or?
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the minutes of the May 12th regular board meeting be approved. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move now to the public comment opportunity for our regular board meeting. So if there's anyone in the public who would like to speak at this time, this is your opportunity.
Is this microphone working?
Yeah, if you don't mind, use the podium though, please. We got that set up. for just this purpose.
I have an issue here I'd like to share publicly with the board that I found very disturbing and insulting, and it's to do with Commissioner George Kinsella. Last week, it was brought to my attention that he was publicly saying that there's a big drug dealer in town, and there's a complaint at the prosecutor's office, and that the sheriff and the prosecutor refused to do anything about it for 5 weeks because we're afraid of him. So I contacted Mr. Kinsella, and he admitted that he did say that. And what he said was, there's a businessman in town. I won't name that person. And this businessman got himself in some trouble recently with the health department, and they imposed a fine. And that fine wasn't paid, so they turned it over to the prosecutor 5 weeks ago. And he said the sheriff and the prosecutor won't do anything because we're afraid of him. Well, when I look into this, I mean, this is the first knowledge I have of this. There's no complaint through our office, no investigation. We weren't aware of it. So I don't know how he could come to the conclusion that I'm negligent, not doing anything for something I had no participation, no knowledge. And I find it absolutely insulting to my integrity or to this office. And then he said, well, he didn't really mean me. My office wasn't doing anything. Well, I'm gonna defend my staff. I asked him if he had any drug information. If he does, he should have, as a commissioner or a citizen, he should bring that to law enforcement so we can look into and investigate it. I asked him, where is he hearing this? And he says he's not going to reveal his sources. So that tells me it's rumors, hearsay, innuendo, whatever. It's speculation at best. And that kind of rumors is damaging to not only to me, but to anyone's reputation, to this businessman. And I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of a drug dealer. Just recently, we just arrested the undersheriff's stepson. We just arrested one of our best part-time special deputies. So that should be proof that we're enforcing the law fairly, we're not showing favoritism, and I'm not intimidated by Commissioner Kinsella or a drug dealer in this town. If there's a drug dealer and we can do something, bring it on and we'll do it. But my integrity is at stake here, and so is my staff. I understand financially he supported my opponents. I really don't care. When they filed criminal complaints with the AG, he's listed as a witness on their behalf, supporting witness. When they filed a lawsuit against me, he's listed as the witness. And I can put up with all the politics, but he's not going to insult my integrity or my staff. The Office of Highway Safety and Planning, which is a division of Michigan State Police, 3 years in a row, they said that when we receive grant funds of 178 law enforcement agencies in Michigan, we manage our budget better than anyone, 3 years in a row. And I'm only telling you this because he's always after me about not managing the department. One of the most important things I feel I've ever done, and I'll go to my grave with this, is I think we should provide safety and security to our children in our schools. And I went for a millage last year. You know, I was unsuccessful, but I still feel it's important. And I'm only telling you that because if the state police is saying we manage everything really well, how can he say that I'm not managing it? Here's the email I want to read, part of it. And it's dated May 6, 2013. It's to Don Cooper, Ted Postula, Scott Shackleton, and Don McLean, talking about me and mismanaging the Sheriff's Department. And here's a line. The sheriff sent at least 6 people to the Michigan Sheriff's Convention in downstate Dearborn. No other county sent more than 2. That's an absolute lie. I've never been to Dearborn in my life. There's no sheriff's conference. And when there was a convention, I sent 2. So arbitrarily, that's, where did he get this? I don't know. The sheriff said he had 6 road patrol officers, but yet we equipped 12 cars with shotgun racks. There's only 2 of us that carry shotguns, and we have no shotgun racks for the sheriff's department. Again, that's a lie. And this is what really gets me. I really do not want to get into, quote, micromanaging. But somebody has to, over there, get into, quote, managing over there before we ask taxpayers for any millage. You know, I'm not going to put up with it. And that's, you know, I put up with this for several years. As a commissioner, you can set my budget. And that's all you can do. I think almost 80% of the citizens in this county elected me to manage the sheriff's department, not George Kinsella to micro. You're always saying we don't need a road patrol. I put in a 38-hour shift last week, find a lost woman. And I have 2 deputies that work in excess of that, over 40 hours. You know what? Not one of them put in for a single dollar of overtime pay. Not one. We should be proud of that. You continuously pressure me to use federally funded grant money for your own business for a year, even when you knew it was illegal. And you've tried over and over for me to deputize your friends. In conclusion, you're probably the most disgusting, self-serving, corrupt, and lying county commissioner I've ever dealt with in 36 years. And I've had enough, George. Out of respect, I'd like to approach the clerk and have her put this email into public comments. And I'd ask to be excused. Thank you.
Anyone else under public comments wish to speak today? This is your opportunity.
Good afternoon. My name is Stacy Hoy. I'm the UP Regional Coordinator for the Department of Natural Resources. I apologize, I was tardy. I thought your meeting was this evening, so apologize I was a little late. I brought some handouts for the commissioners. My role is UP Regional Coordinator is to assist all of you and anybody else in the UP who might have questions, comments, or anything we can be of assistance as the Department of Natural Resources. I'd actually like to just approach the clerk if I could hand these
Yes,
to you guys.
of course.
Thank you. So one thing I just wanted to bring up briefly is our trust fund and our various funding sources that are available to the county, as well as your townships, villages, and other units of government. This year, Chippewa County did receive $180,000 for work on Lime Island. That was applied for from the department. And historically, since 1976, you have received just under $2 million. But we'd welcome any applications for the trust fund. And I just also wanted to let you know if there's anything that I can be of assistance. I am located in the Marquette office, but travel throughout the Upper Peninsula. We obviously, you know, our 2 UP commissioners. Many of you have worked with them. We have right here locally John Madigan and J.R. Richardson, who's from Ontonagon, is currently the first UP chairperson of the Natural Resource Commission. So we're thrilled to have a UPer at the helm. So I would be happy to answer any questions that the commissioners might have regarding the DNR or any current issues. Otherwise, I'll be here afterwards as well.
Yeah, we don't usually do.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Question and answer during public comment. But if you have time, perhaps if any commissioners want to talk to you afterwards, that would be.
You want me to ask one right now, unless you want to answer in public?
Go ahead.
Lime Island,
Yes.
are you going forward and keeping that going, or?
Yeah, at this point, yes.
You were supposed to buy some more land on this side of the river, is that still in progress to?
Not that I know of. I know
That was
maintaining our current ownership was definitely a high priority.
Do you have a caretaker over there this summer?
You know what? I don't know if we still have the same caretaker, but I can find that out for you.
Maybe I'll give you a call someday.
That'd be great. All my contact information is right on the handout as well.
Okay, and you're not in a hurry, you're gonna stay anyway?
Yep.
Okay, so if anybody else wants to, have a conversation with Stacy, she'll be here. So
Thank you
for
so
your-
much.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else under public comment, would you like to speak? This is your opportunity. Last chance, public comments. Closing the public comment period, and we move to old business. And there is nothing that we have itemized under old business. So we will move to the administrator's report. Administrator German.
You can see the various reports there, Veterans Affairs, Animal Control, War Memorial Hospital. The sheriff already hit on the OHSP rankings, but behind the rankings, you'll see a cover letter in your packet. And basically, it says that the rest of the state, because we've been the top dog for 3 years in a row, the rest of the state is gunning for Chippewa County. So I thought that was a nice report. Public defender, and some resolutions from other counties. Along that, I'd like to make a comment on the recent incident we had with a lost individual, elderly lady who walked out of her door and was lost in the woods for a great deal of time. And I'd like to publicly thank the Sheriff's Department, the Border Patrol, MSP, Kinross PD, Bay Mills PD, Sioux Tribe, the city, Central Dispatch, and Tim McKee for the great equipment that he's provided, that they used in that operation, and all the volunteers that helped. Many of those officers worked 24 to 36-hour shifts straight, with the sheriff taking the lead and the undersheriff. And I'd like to read a quick quote on, because the Michigan Department of Corrections was also involved, and I think it's very important and it sums everything up. This is from the sheriff to the ERT deployment team, which was dispatched to help in the search. And it says, thanks for everything. You can tell your staff that I appreciate all the effort and good work. We deal with bad people every day with our jobs in law enforcement. In this case, we had the opportunity to help someone good. She probably has never had a speeding ticket in her life, and it is doubtful she would ever have lived through another night. Tell your people to remember this lady as a mother, grandmother, and loved by many. You can do jobs today. You can do your jobs knowing today that you have saved her life and helped the community in a positive way. Our partnership will only become better when we accomplish good things. It is good for this individual, MDOC, Chippewa County, and all of our citizens that depend on us. They have nobody else to turn to when in need. Be proud knowing our citizens love you for everything you just did, Sheriff Savoy. And thank you on my behalf for that search and rescue operation.
Okay. You all set?
Yep.
Okay. Then we move to standing committee reports. We start with Personnel Equalization, Health and Social Services Committee, and that is Commissioner Kinsella.
A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Personnel Equalization, Health and Social Services Committee was held on Thursday, May 29th at Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie. I called the meeting to order at 9 a.m. with a quorum present. Members present, Don McLean, Ted Pastula, and myself. No members were absent. Others present, Jim German, County Administrator, and Lieutenant Paul Stanaway. There were no additions or deletions, no public comments, and we moved right into agenda items. Last year, the Commission approved 4 part-time jail positions to receive health care under the Affordable Care Act. These positions would then be able to work more than 30 hours per week. The act was delayed by a year, so the county put this on hold.
Administrator German asked the committee to move ahead with the plan since the measurement period now starts July 1st. There will be no cost to the county until 2015. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Plastula, to approve 4 part-time corrections officers to receive health care and send the proposal to finance. On a voice vote, that motion carried. And it was moved to finance, so we'll just assume it's gonna be followed up in a finance report. All right, CCHD, position consolidation update. Administrator German noted that the administrative staff from CCHD would be meeting with county administrative staff later in the day to discuss the position. No action was taken at our board. Tribal update. Administrator German gave an update on tribal situations. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, for the county board to meet with the Sioux Tribe Board. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would move that.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Equalization new hire. Administrator German noted that a certified assessor had been hired to fill the vacancy in the equalization department. She will begin in mid-July. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to accept the hiring of a new assessor in equalization. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to adjourn the meeting. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would adjourn the meeting at 9:45, and I would move for the acceptance of this report.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move then to Building, Grounds, Jail, Legislative, Natural Resources, and IT Committee. Commissioner McLean has that report for us.
Regular meeting of the Chippewa County Commissioners, Building, Grounds, and Jail, Legislative and Natural Resources and Information Technology Committee was held on Thursday, May 29th, 2014, with Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Chairman McLean called the meeting to order at 9:45 with a quorum present. Members present were Don McLean, George Kinsella, and Ted Pastula. Members absent, none. Others present, Jim German and Tina Ojala. There are no additions or deletions to the agenda. There was no public comment. Under agenda items, Circuit Court fans. Ms. Ojala requested to purchase wall fans for Circuit Court at a cost of $3,000 that were in the budget. She did not know if acoustical walls should be added first, though. A discussion took place on other repair expenses that were not planned for the courthouse, such as radiator repair. It was moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to only allow standalone fans to be purchased at a cost of about $250. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? Commissioner
During
Cooper?
the budget process, we went over, I think, 3 different things for the circuit court, right? That fan, the acoustic handling, and I think some bench seats perhaps, some kind of
Tables.
seating. And, you know, we discussed it, I think, pretty much at length in this room, and we agreed that it should be done. And I think we should follow that original plan. I mean, a budget is only a plan for a year, and I mean, we made that plan kind of a commitment, so I think it's, you know, if we're just going to discard it, I don't wanna say willy-nilly, because I use that term quite a bit, but if we're just gonna go through the whole process and approve it, and then, you know, when it comes time to act, don't. I think we're wasting our time in the budget process. Are you with me? I mean, if we put that in the thought process, and the whole idea of the budget was for them, for department heads and for folks to come through and come up with these things, and then we, at that point in time, we discuss the merit of it, and then we either approve or disapprove. And the budget process, we felt it was necessary to do those projects, and I think it's still necessary to do those projects.
Can I, before you speak, can I just kind of refine that down a little bit in that the original proposal was for $3,000 in wall fans, and we ended up with $250 in standing floor fans. So what happened? Is everybody happy with this? Is it gonna be effective? You know, what happened for those of us that weren't at the meeting?
I guess the idea of the fans being necessary, nobody argued with that. The other idea being that we have this thing with the radiators going, which we've already committed $10,000 to, which is not in the budget. Okay, and we were looking at that. There were questions about, okay, $3,000 for fans, then what about the acoustical ceiling? And then there was discussion back and forth about a whole pile of things relative to the being able to hear in the courtroom, and it's the same old thing. And we decided, at least the vote reflects that we recognize that it's warm there, and also that there's a heating problem. We're saying that we're going to hold off on the $3,000 purchase of the fans at this time, put in a couple of the fans for $250, and then see where we end up later in the season, I guess. Because that radiator thing, we've committed $10,000 to it, but we're not sure what that's going to look like. And I think when you look at the option of, ceiling fans would be nice. We have this problem with the radiators. The courtroom is 100 and some years old, and it's the same as, this is nothing new. This is something new, but they put up with it for 100 and some years. Right. We may have to just wait on it until we see what happens with the radiators.
So was the proposal for ceiling fans or wall fans?
Well,
The wall fans.
wall fans.
Okay.
And I'm not exactly sure what that all looks like.
I guess just to add to that a little bit, I think maybe they talked about both, and the price was a little more than the $3,000 because they were kind of going to what's in St. Mary's Church. And then we talked about central air, which leads to, we took a walk up in the tower, and I think we've got a lot more problems in that building than we think. So we want to take a closer look here soon.
Yep. So a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, to some degree, ceiling fans can be overrated because they're really just blowing the warm air down from. Because if you get on a ladder and go up to the ceiling in that room, I guarantee you it's 10 degrees hotter up there, and so you're blowing hot air down on you. The movement of air feels cooling, but still it's hot air.
The fans she has in mind, Scott, are not ceiling fans.
The wall mount.
They're moving the air to circulate the way they got it in church. If she's going to replicate those, or if that's what she's using as a model. And Mr. McLean mentioned that the courtroom's been that way for 100 years, and surely it has. But it's been modified through that time. And in fact, one of the reasons we are in this room right now is because it's nice and you can hear. And they can't over there. And it's not nice, and the acoustics are horrid. And you know that. I mean, we had how many different sound systems that they try in there, and they still don't have it. So, you know what I mean? If we're going to use it as a courtroom, and again, we talked through this at the budget process last time. And I think we came upon what had to be done, and we were ready to make the move. And I think this and those two are exclusive.
Right. I don't think the fans have anything to do with improving the sound.
No, but I mean, but also the radiator and the fans are mutually exclusive things. And I don't know if we can start tying all that crap in, but apparently.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, I guess the idea is that you're addressing the problem with at least a temporary measure, and you want to take a big look at the bigger picture here, I guess, with that building and the clock tower and acoustics and everything else. It could be a big investment in that courtroom, but Okay, so we have a motion before us. I think we've discussed it thoroughly. Is there any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
That's one nay then. We'll do this for now. Back to you, Commissioner.
Okay. Administrator German explained he was getting a quote to paint space lines in the parking lot, as there's been a few incidents with vehicles backing into each other. No action was taken at this time. Annex sale. Administrator German explained that he had two offers on the annex. One of the offers was not moving rapidly and depends a lot upon MISTA approval. The other offer was in writing for $92,500 for the building as is after the flood, and a check for $5,000 was presented for the purchase option. The committee said that the administrator should counter with the buyer also paying all closing costs. A check would also be coming from MMRMA for the flood damage. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to accept the offer of $92,500 for the purchase of the annex, with the buyer paid all closing costs, and forward the recommendation to finance. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and the finance committee will be bringing that up later. The courthouse tower. The committee toured the courthouse tower. Administrator German pointed out that the person who raised the flag had to stand where he had to stand on. A platform is going to be constructed for safety. Also pointed out was the electrical and fire concerns, which should be addressed in the near future. No action was taken. And I guess Commissioner Pastula mentioned it earlier, but it was an educational tour. I think we've all had our trip to the bell tower to see what's up there, and the situation has not gotten any better. In fact, when you look at it a little more closely, there's some real concerns relative to fire concerns. If you haven't been up there lately, I think, although you must have seen it because they said it's been there for years, the plastic tarp that catches the leak and funnels it into a wastebasket, and then the hose that drains the wastebasket out the side of the building. The other thing that was alarming was, as we looked at it, the condition of the sheathing on the roof, the various places, looks rather bad. And there was one window that you can push through the side of the window with your finger. The material, it's really bad. And we're going to have to look at doing something soon. And the electrical is another thing. I'm not sure whether it is operating at the present time, but the old, what do they call it, George? The spindles and
pulleys and, yeah.
no, but the type of wiring where you see.
Oh, knob and tube. It's knob and tube.
Knob and tube wiring that is really old. There's some of that up there, and again, I don't know whether it's presently being used, but it just looks scary to see it.
We can check.
There were a number of things that are up the road. We're going to have to look at something there. So, okay, that was any further? Okay, I'll move on then. Chairman comments, there were none. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, seconded by Commissioner Kinsella, to adjourn the meeting on a voice vote. The motion carried. And I would move the acceptance of these minutes.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that the minutes be accepted from the Building Grounds Jail Legislative, Natural Resources, and IT Committee, meeting of May 29th. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move to Finance, Claims, and Accounts. Commissioner Cooper.
We had two meetings this month, Mr. Chairman. The first one was May 15th. Called the meeting to order at 4 p.m. with the quorum present. I was there, George, Don McLean, Ted. Scott was missing that day. Margie Hank was there, Phil Wolf, Bobby Savage, Mike Bittman, Kelly Church. No additions or deletions. We approved the agenda. We had a 2013 audit presentation. Financial statements of Chippewa County, including the governmental activities, business activities, the aggregate discretely presented component units, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information for the year ended December 31st, 2013. Were presented by Anderson Tackman and Company, CPA Phil Wolf. Mr. Wolf presented and reviewed the documents included in the annual audit report and explained the purpose of each. He reviewed the independent auditor's opinion, which had one finding, which will be corrected this year. Discussed changes to the audit report that have been implemented and those that will be implemented over the next year. Mr. Wolf went over at length the long-term and short-term statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. Mr. Wolf presented and reviewed the general fund fund balance sheet, a number of graphs, and the communications with those in charge with governance, previously known as reports management. It was noted that the county is currently rated at AAA bond rating for bonding purposes. It was also noted that there are no deficiencies or material weaknesses. The prior comments regarding the county's lack of self-funding health insurance policy and the credit card regarding internal control, both of which will continue to be worked on. I thank the staff, in particular Chuck Lenhart and Kelly Church, as the county previously had qualified opinions. Now due to follow-up, the problems were cleaned up and the policies and internal controls have been clarified and followed more diligently. Mr. Wolf reminded the committee that the internal controls are set by the Board of Commissioners through the establishment of policies and procedures and how important it is to follow through with them. The general fund original budget revenue was $11,471,019, with the actual amount of $11,649,095 collected. The original expenditures for the general fund were $14,074,373. The actual expenditures were $14,441,185. Mr. Wolf also provided charts regarding assets, revenues, expenditures, fund balances, and the DTRF with prior year comparisons. Discussions with questions and answers followed. It was moved by Commissioner Pastulo, supported by Commissioner McLean, to accept the approved fiscal year 2013 budget as presented. On the voice vote, the motion is carried, and I would so move.
Support.
And this is the audit, not the
That's
budget. Okay. Commissioner Cooper made the motion, it was supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? Commissioner Kinsella.
Yes, as part of the questions and comments at the end of the meeting, as Commissioner Cooper pointed out, I specifically asked the question, if we understand that an elected official is doing improper spending, is the elected official liable, or are we liable as commissioners? The answer I got to that, we all remember, was the elected official is liable, as are we as commissioners. Did anybody hear anything different than that? Because I specifically said we often get accused by elected officials or department heads, and while I used Margie as an example, I did not in any way impugn Margie, but I said to use her for an example, she's sitting here. And of course, and I specifically used the words micromanage, we're accused of it. So I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out, because you heard an accusation here tonight of micromanaging. So we are liable behind the elected officials. We're the board. And we report to the taxpayers just like elected officials do. So,
Any further comments on the motion or discussion?
Just a couple things. First of all, and this goes without saying anymore, but this audit report goes online with the Michigan State, on the Michigan State website, and it's also, our folks put it online on our website, so it'll be up there on the website if you want to get it. And I think our responsibility as far as the taxpayers are being good stewards of the tax dollars is not to micromanage an office, not to go in there and do their day-to-day operations. We set the budget, we set the policies, we set the procedures, and we make sure they follow those internal controls and those fiscal policies. You know, and if they want to commit a fraud, that's up to them. But you know, we do our end of it, and again, we use due diligence and protect it. But again, we don't go into each office and tell them how to run it. Okay, I'm done, Scott.
Motion is before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Commissioner Cooper, you have another meeting.
Okay, well, there's no more comments, and the meeting was adjourned. I'll move for the approval of
Oh,
these minutes.
thank you.
These minutes of the May 15th
15th.
finance meeting.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the minutes of the May 15th meeting be accepted and approved. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Now we'll, motion is approved. Now go on to the June 5th meeting, please.
Okay, June 5th meeting, we met again at 4 p.m. I was there, George, Don McLean, Scott Shackleton, and Michael Stewart. Mike Bittner, Paul Stanaway, Tom Farnquist, Steve Ball, Jim German, and Kelly Church. It was moved by Scott, supported by George, to approve the agenda. We approved it. There was no public comment. Correspondence and informational items. The committee received the monthly travel report for May billing statement for review and the county's specific and public hearing notice for special assessment for street reconstruction on Ashland. Agenda items, we looked at the policy 410, travel and business expense update. The committee reviewed policy 410, travel and business expense policies, and noted the 4 changes from the previous policy. The changes include the receipts needed to be itemized, the preference of no alcohol purchased on receipts that are turned in for meals, clarification of where mileage will be reimbursed from, and that the board has approved the rates for meals at select cities. It was moved by Scott, supported by Don McLean to approve policy 410, travel and business expense as presented. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee received documentation from Nationwide regarding their new offer pro account, which is designed for retirement plan participants who prefer the convenience of having their account managed by professionals or simply do not feel they have the time or expertise to do it themselves. And look at the plan sponsor agreement from Nationwide that needs to be approved for the pro account. It's moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to approve the Nationwide Investment Advisors LLC pro account plan sponsor agreement to allow county participants to utilize the pro account option if they so choose. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion?
Just like to point out that there's a small fee involved, but it's not the county's responsibility, it's the plan participant. If they opt to use that service, they will pay for it.
Anything else? All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee reviewed an out-of-state travel expense from the Sheriff's Department for Detective Sergeant Greg Postman to attend sexual assault nurse examiner's expert witness training in Columbia, South Carolina. Moved by Commissioner Shacklin, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the out-of-state travel for Greg Postman to attend the seminar in Columbia, South Carolina. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Courthouse annex sale, this came over from Buildings and Grounds. The committee was updated on the insurance claim from the February water damage by Jim German and expected MMRMA check of $220,759.56, which includes paying up bills that were incurred in the amount of $14,129.42, and the discount value of the existing repairs, discounted at approximately 18%. So the amount we would receive was $206,630.14. The committee also passed a motion at their May 29th meeting as follows. Oh, this is the Buildings and Grounds Committee. To accept the offer of $92,500 for the purchase of the annex if the buyer paid all closing costs, forward the recommendation to finance. Discussion followed. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the acceptance of the MMRMA check in the amount of $220,759 for bills incurred, as well as a payout for the estimated repair damage that were discounted at 18% of the estimate. And I think I want to put in here, for the total amount the county would receive is $206,630.14.
Sure.
Just to get it in there.
It's accurate.
Yes. And on a voice vote, the motion carried, and I was so moved that.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Then it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the sale of the Chippewa County Courthouse Annex 300 Court Street, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, 49783, at the price of $92,500 to Silver Valley Development LLC, with the buyer paying for the closing costs and the purchase agreement to be executed no later than August 1st, 2014. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? Wait one moment. Administrator German?
Yes, we have a meeting set up a week from today with Mr. Canello representing the county side and Mr. Bias to get any discrepancies we might have worked out on the purchase agreement. And I believe I would need the chair's authorization, or myself and the chair, to sign that purchase agreement so that it's in effect till August 1st.
Would we assume that this motion would authorize that?
I can. You just wanna negotiate that again?
We
There,
wanna sign
just the
purchase-
fine details of the purchase agreement, you know. There's always a couple of, you know, there's lawyers involved, there's gonna be a couple of details. Would you consider
add that to
amending
the
your motion?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
do that.
okay, so Commissioner Cooper's suggesting that he would like to amend his motion to include authorization for the chair to sign the purchase agreement and for the administrator to negotiate the fine details, being consistent with what we've approved. Is whoever made the support is supportive of that? Is there any further discussion? Commissioner Cooper?
I just wanna say one thing, and then we're gonna wrap this whole building thing up. But it's been said that we're making the best of a bad situation by selling that building and divesting of that asset. And I think we are, reluctantly. But we created that situation by bad decisions and negligence. We bought a building we owned, and we paid $750,000 for it. We renovated that building for another $2.5 million. Now, and it's this building here. You can't deny that we have a nice building. You know, we're not gonna say that. But did we really need to do it? Did we really need to spend the taxpayers' money on that? Then we vacated a recently renovated building, the Polyclinic. It's on the books for $2.6 million. Then, because of not protecting the county asset by not properly winterizing or monitoring the heat during an exceptionally cold winter, a water pipe froze and broke, causing extensive damage. Now we are going to collect the insurance, from the insurance, $206,000 and sell the building for $92,500 for a total of less than $300,000, or about 12% of the value we have on the books. George mentioned that he questioned the auditor during the audit committee meeting, and one of the questions he asked the auditor was what impact on our books would it be if we sold that building for $300,000? Remember that, George?
I remember part of that
You
question,
remember
sure.
that. And he said in the short term, we would see a revenue influx of $300,000 proceeds. In the long term, we would show a loss of over $2 million. When we started this whole thing, we were told the county would save $100,000 a year by spending $2.5 million in renovating this building. That hasn't happened. If it did, it would take 25 years to recoup the cost of this investment. Now, I've heard the spin out there is now that the Polyclinic is sold, it'll be on the tax rolls. And that is true. If we receive $2,000 a year in taxes, it would take 1,000 years to recoup the $2 million loss the county has incurred. Are we making the best of a bad situation? Yes. Did we cause a problem through bad decision-making and negligence, both in protecting the building and spending the tax dollars wisely? I think yes on that one as well.
Okay, anyone else? Commissioner Pastula?
I guess, I don't call it a bad decision or negligence. People's houses froze up this winter with them living in it. It was vacant, and it was just extremely cold weather. It broke. At the time we bought that Polyclinic, we needed it. You know, we didn't have half the building over here, so we had to do what we had to do to house our people. This came available, yeah, maybe you weren't happy the way it turned out. We spent a lot of money on it. We're here. We did what we had to do at the time, and this is where we're at today. Thanks.
Anyone else? Commissioner McLean?
I guess Commissioner Cooper went on, and I just want to point out that those are your opinions, Don. Okay? Those are your opinions. Other people have other opinions. That's why when we hold a vote, I think that it's probably going to be approved. And again, as Commissioner Pastula has said, and I've said a number of times, you make decisions with the information you have in front of you at the time. If we had a crystal ball, life would be different, but we don't. We make decisions based on what we see at the time, and we all know some of them work and some of them don't. And again, I think that I wasn't on the commission when the initial purchase was made, or the money that was put in to remodel it, the $2.6 million or whatever. But chances are, if I had been, I would have looked at that information and made the same decision that was made at the time. Again, hindsight is fine. Monday morning quarterbacking is great, but here we are right now, and this is what we've got. Thank you.
Well, and I would just add too that there's a long history here. I mean, it's easy to summarize it and capsulize it into make it sound like it's all happened in the last 3 or 4 years. It hasn't. This is a long history of 20, maybe 30 years with the involvement of the annex building. And, you know, historically, yes, we're taking a hit on that building. And I wasn't quite in favor of all the actions that we've taken, but I will say that currently, I think the citizens are well served with 2 really nice buildings that are here to professionally serve them going into the future. I'm actually very surprised at how nice this building turned out. This building is really a very attractive, professional building that's going to serve us for many, many years. When we decided to sell the annex, I never thought we were going to get more than $300,000 or so for it. I pretty much figured that's what we're going to get. And that's what we're ending up with when you take the insurance money and the sale. So it's again, I didn't agree with everything, but I think we are well positioned now for going into the future. So, anyone else? Commissioner Kinsella?
When we first decided to sell the annex, as I remembered, we had 2 of the largest local realtors come and give their opinions of the value, and it seems to me both of them were under 500,000. And in fact, I think one of them was at 350. I also want to point out we had a prominent local law firm offer us 250. Am I right?
That what it was.
And then backed off. So, you know, I don't think we are doing too bad at a little over 300 here. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've probably talked this through. If you all agree, I think we can move ahead with the motion. And the motion currently is, we're on the second one, aren't we? And that's to actually accept the purchase agreement. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. The motion passes.
The agreement between Chippewa County and Northern Transition, the committee reviewed the agreement between Chippewa County and Northern Transitions to establish Chippewa County Recycling Program, recycling collection and disposal agreement. The term of the contract will be January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2019, and will develop a solid waste management and reduction program. NTI operates a private, non-profit solid waste recycling program designed to employ disabled people and has applied to the county for a contract to perform such services for the county populace. Discussion followed. It's moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the agreement between Chippewa County and Northern Transitions Inc. That is contingent upon the approval of the millage to establish the Chippewa County Recycling Program, recycling collection and disposal agreement for a term starting January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2019. On the voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
This next one, the jail position due to the Affordable Health Care Act, this came over from Personnel Committee. I think they talked about it in there, so I'll just jump to the motion. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve replacing 4 part-time correctional staff above the 30-hour affordable health care limit and to offer them health insurance effective January 1st, 2015. This measurement period will begin June 29, 2014. In doing so, the county will be responsible for a $12,000 fee penalty for exempting the 4 staff members. On a voice vote, the motion carried.
I will move it.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean. All, discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries with 1 nay.
Committee received a copy of the agreement for inmate health care services with correctional health care companies, which will be coming up for an automatic renewal October 2nd, 2014, for review and discussions. Since contracting with CHC, the county's liability has decreased, and the sheriff's department is very satisfied with CHC. And asks that the bidding policy be waived and the contract stay with CHC. Discussion followed with regards to bidding out the contract or to stay with CHC. And have Administrator Sherman negotiate a possible reduction to get the annual increase waived for the upcoming year. It's moved by Scott, supported by George, to approve and authorize Jim German to negotiate the correctional health care company, the upcoming renewal agreement for inmate health care services effective October 2nd, 2014 for a possible reduce or waive annual fees and to waive the bidding policy. And the voice vote, the motion carried.
I'll move for that one also.
Yeah, motion made by, I'm sorry, I didn't wait for the support.
I'll support. I just wanted to have some
Hang on
discussion.
one second.
so.
Commissioner Pastula made the motion, Commissioner Kinsella has supported it, discussion.
Well, the administrator was asked to try and negotiate it down a little bit. And were you gonna tell us about that?
Go ahead.
We had conversation with the CEO of Correctional Healthcare, Mr. Houston, and one of his vice presidents, I believe is her title, and we were able to negotiate from the 2.5% increase down to a 1% increase. And so I would ask the commission, since we were able to get that much of a discount, if we may be able to go ahead and approve the healthcare renewal of this meeting.
Okay. And that's, what was the original proposed increase was?
2.5%.
2.5, and we went with 1, and that actually ends up with a potential savings of how much? Round numbers.
150, maybe 3,000 to 4,000.
Okay.
It's a $152,000 contract.
It's 150,000, and you saved 1.5%, so that's about $2,000, right? Between 2 and 3.
2,500.
Close enough.
Yeah. Okay, just wanted to talk, just so we know what we're talking about, round numbers. Any further discussion then? We do have the motion, do we not, on the floor?
That was to negotiate.
Just to negotiate it?
No, it was to sign the contract, but he was trying to get the rate reduced.
So that would take care of everything if this is passed.
Okay. Is that how you understand the motion? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the motion to approve and authorize.
Okay, very good. Motion's before us, further discussion?
The only thing is, I guess, you know, as you heard me say a million times, we should be putting this on bids, and since they're obviously flexible and they can go from 2.5% increase to a 1% increase, you know, perhaps there's somebody out there that, you know, maybe the market is getting tighter and they gotta sharpen their pencil. I think it would behoove us to look out there and put it out for bids and see what's out there and what the cost is gonna be. That's my thought.
Anyone else?
Well,
Go ahead.
in the discussion, we did ask the jail lieutenant, you know, if he was happy with them and had he looked around. It seemed to me he said most of the counties in Michigan use this company. And I asked him twice if he was very happy with it and the way it works, and he was very happy, so. That's what
I
helped.
believe I recall hearing this is the best thing we've done in the jail in years.
Yes.
That's right. That's a comment.
Yeah. Okay, I'll call for the vote then. All in favor, vote aye.
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 Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries, 1 nay.
The committee reviewed the RFP for three Sonic NSA 2600 UMT firewalls, which were budgeted in 2014. It's moved by Don McLean, supported by George Kinsella, to approve the release for the three Sonic NSA 2600 UTM firewalls. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that those firewalls be purchased. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We reviewed the bid summaries for the purchase of a photocopy machine for the prosecutor's office. 4 bids were received, only 3 met specs. Discussion followed with questions regarding the different machines and the options. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the purchase and 1-year maintenance at the cost of $4,060 for a Ricoh MP 3053 SP from Sioux Printing Company, with the prosecutor's budget. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee reviewed a proposed agreement for jail services to be between Chippewa County and its sheriff and the Sioux Tribe of Chippewa Indians to provide housing for tribal detainees at a per diem rate of $40 per night for a 36-month period starting at the beginning of Sioux Tribe's next fiscal year. The agreement was been in process for the past several months, and this agreement will match the per diem rates of other local entities. Local entities, the house detainees with Chippewa County Correctional Facility. Discussion ensued. Discussion followed with questions as well as discussion of the county's recommended motion from Silver Ben Nesson. Moved by Don McLean, supported by George Kinsella, that the proposed agreement between Chippewa County and its sheriff and the Sioux Tribe of Chippewa Indians be approved. That the board chair and the sheriff be given the discretion to waive the charging of per diems until the beginning of the tribe's next fiscal year, provided the tribe promptly approves this jail agreement. On a voice vote, the motion carried.
I'll move.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? Commissioner Kinsella?
I thought we had real extensive discussion on this, and I know Commissioner Cooper brought up he wanted to get it up there around 51 or something, but certainly I think to get started at 40 and have the rate be the same as the Bay Mills tribe pays, and it sends us forward in a good way to negotiations with the Bay Mills tribe when their contract with the jail comes up. I think it's next month or the month after.
All right,
Thanks.
Commissioner McLean?
In the previous motion was to meet jointly with the county commission and the Sioux tribe. I guess that all hinges on this and other things relative to the 2% funding to try to get this moving along in the right direction, or get at least, I guess, moving along and completed. That was my intent, so.
And I guess just on this jail contract, I just feel strongly that we need to have a contract in place with any entity that is placing inmates in our jail. And we're just trying to move the process along here and approve this and send it over, and hopefully they think it's a good contract as well. That's the feedback that we've gotten so far, and we'll go from there. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries, 1 nay.
Okay, Finance and Council Committee reviewed the bills and payrolls presented for approval. It was moved by Ted Pastula, supported by George Kinsella, to recommend the approval of the general claims totaling $359,898.98. Other fund claims of $273,409.65. Payroll of $673,517.34. And Health Department claims of $513,204.68. Total claims of $1,820,030.85. Vouchers H1 through H297. On a voice vote, motion carried out of so moved.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Last order of business we have is the audit amendment. It's moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the beginning fund balances as presented from the fiscal year 2013 audit. They are attached. On a voice vote, the motion is carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the audit amendments be approved. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
At this point in time, there's no comments from either the chairman or the committee. Scott moved to adjourn the meeting, and we adjourned at 4:50. Move for the acceptance of this report.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that the minutes of the June 5th Finance Claims and Accounts Committee be accepted and approved. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Move to new business. We have, accept annual report of balance in land sale proceeds accounts is our first item. It is on page 39. Anybody want to, explain
move
this
approval.
briefly? Okay.
I'll support it.
I see a motion from Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Do we have discussion then?
That's to say, property that was sold this year, tax sale, or is that coming up?
Anybody wanna, do you know?
It was a property that was sold, and this was one of the hits, not hits we got in the audit, but this was a finding we had in the audit. According to Michigan law, this has to be reported to the treasurer has to report this to the county commission by a date certain, and I don't know what that date is, but
June 30th.
that's what she's doing at this moment. That's what this report is all about.
Okay. So it's just one of those things that you gotta do. You gotta give them give the county
Exactly.
board a written report, and that's what this is.
And then this will clear up that finding. Remember in the audit report, in the body of the audit, there was
Sure.
a finding.
Yep. You always have findings. Any discussion then beyond that? None? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We have a resolution, which is 1411, and it is a resolution in appreciation of Mick Gilat. Mick's a longtime maintenance guy who did a great job for the county and has recently retired. This resolution makes note of his service to the county and gives thanks for his hard and diligent work that he's done for us.
I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there any further discussion than what I already jumped on there? This is a resolution, so it requires a roll call vote. Clerk?
Commissioner Cooper,
Here, yeah. Sure, yes. Pay attention.
Commissioner Kinsella,
Yes.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Commissioner Pastula,
Yes.
and Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. And that passes. And again, thanks, Mick. Enjoy your retirement. Resolution 1412 is the resolution imposing the 2014 property tax levy and notice of certification of the 2014 county tax levy. This is directly related to the public hearing we had earlier. Is there,
Move for the approval of the resolution.
I'll support it.
motion from Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that we move this resolution? Is there discussion? Would clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella,
Yes.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Commissioner Pastula,
Yes.
and Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. And our next resolution is, again, in appreciation of someone who's done a lot of work for the county. Marcia Mitchell, who is retired, has worked for the county for 39 years over at the health department. And we want to thank her for all her years of service.
Move for the approval of resolution 14-.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Would the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella,
Yes.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Commissioner Pastula,
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. Item 5 is the North Care Network intergovernmental contract and an appointment. And I believe, anybody want to speak to it? I think what we had found was that we had asked the prosecutor, who is the board's legal counsel, to review it, and evidently he hasn't had an opportunity to do it yet. It doesn't appear to be terribly time sensitive. We can probably delay this for a month. So I guess I would suggest if there was a motion to table this to next month, I think that would be the best
I'll
thing
make
to do.
that motion. Table the North
Support.
Dakota Network and the government contract.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean, that this agreement, contract, and appointment be tabled for 1 month. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Mr. Chairman,
Motion carries.
could I have ask a question relative to that? Just, it talks about an appointment. Does that have to come from the commission, or is it just appointed as a member of the, a citizen of the county?
They say that most of the appointments there are county commissioners, but it does not necessarily have to be a county commissioner. So, that's something that we will do at the next meeting, I guess, presuming that we, are in agreement to do entering this contract.
Thank you.
So we move, on, one more. This is my, chair appointment to the board, to a board. We, recently set up a, investment committee for, healthcare retirement vehicle, fund that has been set up for long-term, funding of benefits the retirees, will be receiving. At this point, the chair has two appointments to put people on a board to sort of oversee that account and make sure that the funds are being invested in the best way possible and make recommendations to the board. And I would, appoint Mark Savoy from Central Savings Bank and Kevin Kelchak from War Memorial Hospital. Two people who both have, a great deal of expertise in areas like this.
You need us to concur with that, Scott? Does the board have to take-
I think, I don't think you have to take action unless you objected to the point that the board wanted to object, but other than that, it's just effective. So then we move on to commissioner comments is the next, item on the agenda. Are there any comments from the commission? Commissioner Kinsella?
I'm appalled at the, accusations of the sheriff. And, you know, I want to tell everybody in the room or to ask anybody in the room, if I've said the stuff that the sheriff said in public. I found this attack was boundless and personal on my character. The sheriff and undersheriff have been constantly supported by me, and my votes prove it. His other allegations of untruths on my part can be checked, and they will be publicly aired in this same forum. I demand a fair hearing on this campaign stunt, and think that the sheriff should be above this kind of thing. So, news to follow.
Anyone else? Commissioner comments?
You know,
Commissioner Cooper?
I'm sorry, Scott, I sleep at the switch here, but under new business, and I think we should do something with those proceeds from that building. We got $299,130.14 gonna come into the coffers. We just talked a little bit about the disrepair in the circuit courtroom and the court building over there. And I think it would be prudent for us, the county commission, to set that money aside, since it's coming from a building fund, that it should be earmarked purely and set up into a special fund, to earmark it for not even renovations, but basically maintenance of that courthouse over there. We've had, you mentioned the windows up in the bell tower. I know they're pretty shabby. But the windows throughout the entire courthouse. In 2011, they ran through a whole bunch of exercises and whatever, and then the administrator was supposed to come up with a plan to fix those windows. Remember how the wind blows in them, and the only thing I saw last winter was green tape on 3 windows, and other than that, you know what I mean? But I think we have a lot of problems over in that building, and I think this would be kind of a start to put some money toward that. So I would make a motion.
Well, I'd suggest that you hold your motion if I may.
Okay.
I'd kind of rule it out of order under commissioner comments.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But that money's not going anywhere, so what I would suggest is add this to the finance,
Okay.
agenda next month. And, on the face of it, I'm supportive. It sounds like a good idea. But let's just do that next month and do it in finance. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, the money's not going anywhere. It's not,
I guess just a quick comment on that. I agree with him, we should, because what we seen the other day, I think there's more than
Pretty scary.
$300,000 gonna be spent in the other building, so just beware what's coming there.
okay.
And I think if you start messing with the electrical, I remember when they renovated that, Lenny, God rest his soul, he wouldn't even let you put a coffee pot in there
We
because
were
of the electrical.
at the max at that time.
We were
that's
maxed
why.
out then. Now with all the electronics we have, with the air conditioners in everybody's office, with the fans, with the heaters, you're just cruising for
You're right.
trouble.
Used to go look at the coffee pots every morning.
He cruised that building, because we were at the maximum of our electrical load then.
Right.
So I'm sure we exceed it now.
Okay. Any other comments under Commissioner comments? Commissioner McLean?
I guess I appreciate the comments made by Commissioner Cooper and Commissioner Pastula, and it is something that is immediate. We need to look at it as quickly as we can and
Well,
get
as
some
the-
kind of a course of action.
As the chairman of Building and Grounds, as well as the rest of that committee,
Another
you'll
meeting.
have your hands full.
Yeah, another meeting.
Another meeting, and perhaps more than one.
That's a good
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, if
So
anybody'd like to give one.
Support.
Motion to adjourn from Commissioner McLean, Cooper rather, supported by Commissioner McLean. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
And the motion, this meeting is adjourned.
Well, that was, completely blindsided by the sheriff. I mean, I just sat here.